I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Ah. Hello, welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm talking about another extreme thing I do. You can call it extreme, it's not that extreme. It depends what your idea of extreme is. I'm getting sidetracked already. You might have already seen my video about how I crashed my bike and nearly destroyed it. Today I'm talking about how my go-kart got destroyed. So I tend to do a lot of national racing. Occasionally incidents happen on track and it's not that great every time when it happens. Yeah, today I've got a couple of stories of when I've got caught up in these incidents. Luckily, I've never been injured in an incident, so you'd think karting's dangerous. 90% of crashes you'll get out of perfectly fine. You might be a bit battered and bruised by the end of the day, but that's kind of normal with this kind of thing. The kart I drive now, it is a 2020, but the kart I was driving before, it was a 2015. So obviously racing a 2015 kart was 2022. It's definitely showing its age. Still drives good, but because it's getting worn down, it wasn't really that strong of a kart. Yeah, the first major incident I had, I was racing at a track that had one section of it that had been recently built, but there was a big bump in the middle of that really fast section of the track. It wasn't really nice to drive over, if I'm being honest. One time I was driving over it and I hear a big kind of, I can't think of the word, but I hear like a big bang, like the sort of noise where metal would hit together. I was wondering what that is. I looked down to my left and I noticed that the aluminium weights I have on the side of my cart is just gone. So I go into the pits, I look at where they used to be. Big hole in the middle of my cart. Yeah, it's not really ideal, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it wasn't a pretty sight. Luckily, we managed to get this problem sorted. A good friend of ours managed to weld a metal plate back onto my cart and weld my weights back on. Luckily there wasn't any more incidents after that. This happened on the practice day, which was on the Saturday race day on Sunday. Luckily for the Sunday, the track layout had been changed because the new bit of track, it had started cracking. So I went back to the old layout, which is a million times smoother. Second incident though, this didn't happen because of the track. This one happened because of a driver. The sort of, I guess, classification I race in is pro karts. One thing you'll find out with pro kart drivers, if they see a chance to go for an overtake, they will do it. I was going into this one corner, different track. I was going into this one corner, somehow, I don't have a clue why, I was somehow leading the race overall at this point. Don't ask how, I don't have a clue. So I was going into this corner, it's roughly 180 degree turn. So I go into it, take my normal line. There wasn't any room for an overtake there, but this one guy, he decides to just go bosh straight into the side of me. That wasn't enough to send me off the track luckily, but it definitely pushed me out wide and I lost a lot of spaces doing that. Usually, you'd be penalised for this, but there was no marshal on that corner, so no one saw the incident. The next lap after that, I hear another big bang of metal, and I also see my weights flying off again. So the first time it happened on my left. This time, there was a big hole on my right of my cart. I ended up pulling over to the side of the truck, waiting for every single cart to go past. So I was already in last, and my cart wasn't safe to drive, so I had to wait till all the carts had gone, so I could run into the truck, pick up my weights, put it back in my cart, and then drive back into the pits. So that was quite an experience, if I'm being honest. But a few months after that, I had switched to my new cart, which is a lot quicker and a lot safer. Same track, 2 or 3 months later, the first lap, we do what's called a rolling start, so you'll get into formation in the pits, then they'll send you out and you stay in formation for a full lap. You go to the start-finish line, then you go. By the time we got to that start-finish straight, no one was in formation. I don't know what the marshals were thinking because they started the race anyway. Usually when that happens, they send us around again, but they just decided just to send us anyway. So going into the first corner, there was 3 or 4 carts going into that same corner all at the exact same time. Usually when that happens, a crash is usually going to happen. And it did, but it didn't happen where you'd expect. So it didn't happen where crashes usually happen, which is on the first right hand corner. That's usually where people tend to spin off on the starts, but it's the left corner after that which is a lot faster. So there was about 4 carts going wide into that corner. They all made contact, sent the first person off. I ended up slamming my brakes on to avoid crashing into them, but when I broke, the person behind me didn't see the incident, so he straight into the back of me. That spins me off. He manages to save it and carry on driving, but the car behind him panic slams his brakes and ends up spinning off into me, and that somehow knocks me on top of the tyres. Don't ask how, I don't have a clue. It all happened very quick, so one cart went over another person. Luckily everyone was okay afterwards. Everyone was able to finish racing for that day, apart from the people whose carts were ruined. But yeah, I ended up just spinning into the tyres. I see someone else spin off, and then obviously he crashed into me. Next thing, I'm just sat there in my car on top of the tyre wall, tyres everywhere. It was a mess. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Apart from one thing that was even more annoying, my car was still perfectly safe to drive, but in the crash, the zip tie that was holding a bit of plastic that's meant to be my chain guard, that zip tie snapped off, so my chain guard was flopping about. Apparently, that goes against the regulations, so 2 laps away from the end of the race, I get given the black and orange flag, which means I have to go into the pits no matter what. It's a mechanical issue. Because of a bit of plastic, so I couldn't finish the race, which was the last race of that day, which means that I was a DNF, I did not finish the race, I got 0 points from that race. And that incident completely ruined my chances at getting any sort of high results in the championship. But yeah, that's that story. Stories even. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this is a very short video, but either way, I hope you found this interesting. If you like the video, you can drop a like. If there's anything I could have done better, feel free to let me know in the comments if you've got any video suggestions. Also leave them in the comments. I'm always checking comments, so yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to be one of the first people to be at my videos when they're uploaded, make sure to enable notifications so that you can be the first one there whenever anything's uploaded. And that's all I got to say. I hope you all have a great day or night or whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that will be. I don't know, maybe soon, maybe ages away. I don't have a schedule. Okay, I'm done now. Bye. Yeah, being's cool. Yeah, wow, crazy.